Hi, this is Deirra with the Deirra Show, and we're here at the book signing for My Life by Mr. James Topp, an African Voices event.
Joined in a new movement during the 1970s, which was graffiti art. And as opposed to, selling drugs or, being in a gang, I got involved in this artistic movement, which is the greatest art movement that we've known. It came from our diaspora. It is part of our expression and our gift. Talk to Wicked Gary, who is even older than me when it comes down to, doing this here.
I'm a member of a crew called the X-Vandals, which gets credit for being the first graffiti crew ever organized. And I'm one of the original 7 members. I love the fact that people are still interested in the history of the movement, and it's time that the history is told properly and accurately. So every opportunity we have to share some of that information, if I can participate, I will.
So why do you think it's important that we remember our history and we have it shown accurately?
There's a lot of information that's missed if you don't acknowledge what the true history is. And basically, because you have newcomers who try to claim their claim to fame and say, I did this, I did that, I did, all the stuff that they invented and created, when there are people from way past when who need to be acknowledged and known for what their real contribution was to the movement and to the history.
The image of this art form wasn't a good one in the beginning, and people thought that we actually destroying our neighborhoods, really practicing how to paint, and we want to give a contribution to our community and help beautify our community. I happen to be fortunate enough that I had a show at Restoration in Bedford-Stuyvesant, where I used to also do graffiti at, and I also lived there, but I had a show there, and I met Miss Butts, and she came up to Harlem and documented me and, painting in the community. And my tag is one of the richest part of my expression, because the tag is the first element of style in this art form. And back in the days, you had to have a nice tag. Black books, we walk around with them, especially when we go to events. And what you do is you give the book to someone that you know or you don't know, and they put their expression in that book. And from there, you get to know this guy's hand style. You can prove you met him. I must have tagged my name over 1 million times. I would believe probably 2 million, to be honest with you. Yeah. Yeah. So, we go to events and we sit down and we pass black books around, and that's how we enjoy the culture. So I've always wanted to know what was the origin of this particular book, and to find that out, I had to go to some of the oldest graffiti writers in this culture, and this brother is one of them. We also had Cornbread that was involved in it, and he goes back as far as 1965 is being documented in North Philly. Then we had Charmin 65, who was the first female graffiti writer to paint on trains, to be a part of this. The documentary is 32 minutes long. I did get some funding from it, from the Upper Empowerment Zone and the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council, and I think it's a good educational documentary about the Black book. and these guys talking about how it actually became a major part of our culture. And I'm happy to have been the first one to do documentation on the Black Book. It's called Black Book Graffiti Word Write Large. Check out my show, Graffiti NYC. We come on each and every Sunday, 1:30 a.m., channel 67, right here on the M&N Network, or you can see us live stream on the net at www.mnn.org.
Hey, we be music and we be song, and with our rhythm, ain't nothing wrong. It's in our hips, it's in our arms, it's on our lips. Our vibes be strong. When you see a sister walking down the street with her rhythm colors, she's got the beat. Stepping high and hip swaying, a Mother Earth she be saying. But check out the brothers, cause they be doing it too. When he steps and glides, with his head held up, you can see the pride. Shoulders swaying, inside the music's playing. I'm the father of civilization, the lyrics be claiming. But watch the children, cause they be doing it too. The rhythms pass down from me to the youth. Just make sure that they understand that this is a ritual, because this is God's dance. Because God wrote the music, and God wrote the song. So with our rhythm, ain't nothing wrong, because we be music. We be music. We be music.
When I grew up in the 1970s, there were no art programs in the schools or in my community. And, you know, they said they had budget cuts, so they eliminated all of the art programs. So I wanted to learn how to, you know, to draw. And the only place and the only people that was doing any art were the graffiti artists. And they said, oh, well, you couldn't find it. No, I could not find any place in East New York where they would teach me to draw. So I was very curious about graffiti art, and eventually I would go into this store called Times Square Stores that was across the street from where I lived at in the pink houses, and they would have these posters, these Afro posters, and the guy would, you know, be kind of muscular, and he'd have like a leopard sometimes, or he'd have his girl next to him, like, you know, but I was so intrigued with trying to paint his face. But, you know, I never had any lesson. But so I would get cans of spray paint and I would go into the train yard and I would try to duplicate the face that I seen. And I came out with this. I used to have a cleft in my chin, you could see it, but anyway. And I would, you know, do the afro and the eyes and everything look kind of like this. Not exactly, but very close to it. 50 years later, here I am. You're looking at the evolution of an artist that has gotten no formal training at all. I never, ever took an art class in my life. Everything I learned in the streets of New York City, or I learned in a yard or a layup, or just with my friends out here exchanging black books.
I can remember when I was 8 or 9 years old, it was the first public art that I ever seen, you know, before going to an art gallery, and I was just moved and taken in by the fact that people could just express themselves on the train. I decided I wanted to start a magazine because at the time, you know, there was the New Yorker magazine, but that didn't really feature artists of color or black people. So I wanted to really start a publication that represented us, who we are, represented our history and our culture. And so again, African Voices, 1992. I'm very proud of the fact that we recently got archived by Spelman College, so that means that the publication is going to be passed on to the next generation. Artists have a special place in uplifting us, you know, through their work, telling stories that really resonate with us and who we are and our history. So I hope that African Voices will really continue, you know, just going around the world and giving people something that could really uplift their families, uplift their spirits, and heal, especially in the time of, we're getting out of COVID now. So you can imagine, what was during COVID, art was the only thing that really sustained us. I mean, we realized the importance of theater, we realized the importance of connecting online. You, I think, attended some of our screenwriting workshops. So it was like this community. And so coming out of that, I know there's going to be an even greater need for artists to be in the community to heal us from what was one of the most traumatic things that the whole humanity has ever went to. So African Voices playing a small role in the community of just connecting people from everywhere and having them really enjoy and celebrate art by people of African descent. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
African Voices is such an important part of our community. Can you please tell the audience where they can learn more about African Voices?
Yes, you can go to AfricanVoices.com. You can go to realsisters.org. And if you are old school, you can call us at 212-865-2982. And we have an art gallery come out in Brooklyn. When you go to our website, we're out in Clinton Hill, not too far from Pratt University, and you just be able to see what we do and how we affect that community.
And, she let the world know that I was out here, beautifying Harlem and teaching kids how to, paint and, do graffiti art in an educational, environment. And, through the years, I've been, a curator and, an organizer of, many graffiti events. And this is the 50th year in hip hop, and I'm happy to be doing this event here, especially in Harlem, with African Voices magazine, the first magazine that put me on my artwork on the cover. And I'm always an African Voices artist, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be a part of, giving a Lifetime Achievement Award to Carolyn Butts of African Voices magazine, because she's touched my life and it'll never be the same. And I'm sure I'm not the only artist, because she's been working with artists and poets, and also too producers and directors with her body of work is incredible. And I'm just happy to be here for this event and to honor her and her lifetime achievement and her body of work, with helping so many artists get recognition like I did back in 2006. And, we're here for the fundraiser for this organization, because the organization needs our support and our help. And, I'm here, and, my book is for sale along with this magazine from 2006. Surprised you still got more of these here. But, I think it tells tells a complete story about me. And she was talking to me earlier today about a group of kids in DC, because they get the book, the magazine too, and they had to do an essay and stuff on the magazine, and they picked mine, and so just things like that. This magazine reached so many beautiful people out there, and I'm just happy that I got an opportunity to tell my story here. And this was the first time I actually told my story to a literary magazine, and African Voices.
Well said.
This one, of course, I did in 2006. Still got it. It's dedicated to African Voices, and the different magazine covers from the different years. You probably look at this and say, damn, you remember those covers there. And here's mine right here. And you know, I took the African Voices tag too, and so I did like a new kind of cover. That was back in 2006. And I usually do the afro, but the faces be different colors and everything, and that's like the pop part of all of this. The tears is from the pain that the black man has to endure in this country. A lot of people don't recognize that, but I know more than Musa know that though. And inside the middle here, which is my mind, I try to express my feelings. And I used to do like a lot of collage styles, like Roman bidding, but I kind of got away from that recently. This is a limited edition poster, and it's about contemporary times here that we've gone through this police thing and people not having respect for black lives, and this is my ode to that. This is one of, you know, just basically my expression about the trains in New York City, and actually this is a Dondi outline, a real famous graffiti artist that I mentored back in the 1970s, and he did outline for me, and so I'm just doing outlines over and over again. Of course, a different color face and everything, and you know, I got the trains always in the background with some buildings, and of course we'll get to this one here, and this is Train Dreams, and this is about me dreaming about painting trains over again, which you know that we don't do anymore. So James, why people don't paint on trains anymore? Do they make the trains where, you know, you put the spray paint on and then it just drip down? No. They hired the penalties, so they catch you writing on the train now is a felony, and it's not a misdemeanor. You go to Rikers Island with a felony for painting on the trains, good luck. You know, like I said before, the tag is the first element of style when it comes down to graffiti art, and this is supposed to be the first thing that you mastered. Some of the younger guys have not mastered their tag yet because it's not as important to them to master tag. You know, back in the days, you had to have a nice tag, unless you couldn't even hang out. So, you know, now, you know, they just going, you know, they doing the burners first and not focusing on the tag. And I take great pride in my tag, and I've learned a lot about the tag from a lot of people I was with. Mostly a guy by the name of Wayne Roberts, Stay High 149. And though I've been a mentor to a lot of people, he was sort of like a mentor to me with my tag and how to do a nice tag and get creative just doing the tag. You know, I could do all this other stuff, but how creative can I get with the tag? You see different examples. This one is called where there's smoke, there's fire. And you know, I like clouds and you know, so a guy like James floating in the air, hot, not exactly on fire, but you see the smoke and you know the fire's coming soon. And this one is called Bubbly because it's very effervescent and bubbly, so I named it Bubbly. Got some fire in there too now. This one, it's sort of like a pop style kind of thing that I was working with these honeycombs and just working with different designs inside the James Top tag. And if you look at these tags, they're almost like burners, like real complete pieces. So, you know, a tag can also be a burner within itself too. And for those that don't know what a burner is the highest degree of the art form because it has everything in it. It has a 3-dimension, it has background too. The only thing is not involved with this here is maybe characters, but the background is here and the 3Ds is definitely here. So I try to do and be creative with the tag and try to just show my mastery of the art form and still be simple. So these are also for sale today. If you want to buy one, the proceeds will go to African Voices magazine. Of course, the book and the African Voices magazine from 2006, we have those here. I'll sign, my book, which normally costs $30 anyway. So you'll be getting a deal, and you'll be helping out African Voices magazine. To see more of my artwork, you could go to www.nycgraffitievents.com, or you can email me. I'm on social media at James Top, James Top Production on Instagram, James Top on Facebook. So, if you want to hook up. But we're here for African Voices magazine today. And that's it. You're welcome.
I am a huge supporter of Carolyn Butt's African Voices and Real Sisters of the African Diaspora. And so I saw the email event. I wasn't too far, and I said I had to come out and support Carolyn.
Awesome, awesome. This weekend is actually Father's Day. And what does that mean for you?
Well, it's also combined with Juneteenth weekend. But what does Father's Day mean to me? I mean, I think that in the climate that we're in and the country that we're in, it's a great opportunity for us to take a moment to honor our men, to make sure that we are protecting them, because they are not as protected as they should be. I think that's really it, just honoring and protecting our black men, just across the board, fathers or not.
For sure. So Malika just said something that made me think about how the media sometimes portrays black men and black fathers. And I wanted to say that I know more responsible and great black fathers than none. So I want to just put that out there, that we should just be really appreciative of our black men.
Absolutely.
And our elders, and respect that. And anyone who challenges that, we should put them in their place. So, so Malika, you're an artist yourself.
I am, yes.
So what do you like to do?
What do I like to do? I like to be in front of the camera. I like to be behind the camera. And on occasion, I will be writing or editing. And when time and money allows, I'm also producing.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So, what else do you know about James Top and his artistry?
I don't, actually. So that's why I'm here. Again, I saw the African Voices email come out about his work and about his support of Carolyn, and I'm a huge supporter. So I said, well, let me come on over. I'll, get a little information about his work, support someone who has supported me in my artistry, and so just kind of do a little 2-for-1 thing.
And that's why it's important for African Voices to have events like this to bring more awareness to artists, our black male artists like James Top, because she didn't know, and now she does, and he has more fans today.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for joining us, Malika.
No problem. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
To see more of my artwork, you could go to www.nycgraffitievents.com, or you can email me. I'm on social media at James Top. James Top Production on Instagram, James Top on Facebook.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time. And she'd buy the same gifts over and over.
Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together.
It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Man, it's lonely. Going through life's lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. His real name is Deirra, and we call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's affection, attention, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. Just do it from the right place. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job. I'll say my kid's pretty dope.
When I got the opportunity to get her, there wasn't no choice. I told myself, I'm gonna take custody of my daughter. It's my baby. That's what we're supposed to do as men. Take care of our home, build a foundation, you know what I'm saying? Love, our money, she's my purpose. I'm here to walk with her, hold her hand until she can walk alone. Ain't nothing like being a father in this world.